I was gonna say, when did you get into ball?
5. So 5.
Was your dad Liverpool? Because obviously,
No, he's Tottenham.
He's Tottenham.
Yeah, I know.
Okay, so this is
Yeah.
You're born in Izzy.
Yeah, cuz.
Your father's Tottenham.
Yeah, cuz.
And you support Liverpool.
Yeah, cuz.
What's going on, people? TroopzTV back again. Back our blood clot again. You understand? Episode. I think this is 7 or 8, blood. I think it's 7. We never had one last week because obviously we have exclusive guests, you get me? And our guests can get flown out at any time, blood. And that guest got flown out. So we're back again, you get me? Obviously this week the things are running, you understand? I have another 2 special guests on the show, you get me? Probably the biggest guests you'll ever see on the show, blood. You get me? Somehow the sofa is surviving. I don't know how long is this gonna survive, though, blood. You get me? Because there's no tree of them, blood. Lord of His mercy. You get me? But as you can see, I've got the Akinfenwa brothers. I got Deli and I got Ade with me. The man them from Stay.
Love.
Come on,
Blessed for having us on, cuz.
Nah, I appreciate the man them coming on. Real talk, because I got a lot of people like who follow me like and watch my stuff and will comment on my things, and they're like, you're kind of high profile, but they were like, when I reach out, it's they move side-ish, you get me? So firstly, I want to thank you lot for actually coming on the show,
man. Listen, thanks for having, man, for real bars. And listen, you know he's touching it. It's the same. Listen, there's the industry and then there's the reality. That's how I look at it, innit? Do you know what I'm saying? And we talked off air, innit, man? Listen, I'm honoured to be here. I ain't gonna lie, man. I bust up at your stuff, fam. Like, and when I first come across, because the reason why I say this, innit, I think in life, there is nothing better than authenticity. That's just what I do. And, bruv, there's not many man that is like Troops. There's not, so as a former footballer, a retired footballer and that's why you would see, especially like footballers, because them man like, but is real. So because you're real, bruv, you just gravitate to real. Do you know what I'm saying? So, bruv, I'll be watching your stuff and I just be busting up. So I ain't gonna lie.
You know what's mad for me though, like, because you've got the personality on camera, innit? Yeah. And when certain people see you on camera, they're like, "Is man really like that?" Yeah. And then I met you. Yeah. I was like, man's really like that. Really like that. I was like, and that's what I like, innit? If that's how you are, and then I meet you, and then you're the same, I'm like, yeah, cause that, that's what you're talking about, authenticity. Like, it's authentic. That's you, cause you're not putting on a show. It's you, cause, and that's what we like, bro. Whenever we watch your videos, it's just too funny, bro. Too funny. I lie, man. But you gotta look at it. And listen, I know why you call me, and I always say this, right? I think life's about being inspired and to inspire. But what you did even with the Obama blood clot.
Obama blood clot, yeah.
Like,
shout out Abba.
Yeah, shout out, you know what I'm saying? Shout out Abba and that, you know what I'm saying? Like, but you got to understand, that that went on to corporate TV. Yeah. But you know what I'm saying? You know these things.
No, but I don't, blood, because you see me, I'm just a man that just, you get me, I'm one of the man them, so I just run like that. That's something that I'd say normally around the man them.
Exactly, and that's the reason why, look, for me to give you your flowers, where you got to know that, but being yourself, but it's the most powerful thing, being unapologetically yourself. And when you're that, bruv, it transcends the court. Bruv, when would you have seen Sky Sports play blood clot? You know what I'm saying? So for me, real bars, cuz, and that's just a testament of that, reinforcing, look, don't get the game twisted. It don't matter where you've come from. It don't matter how you speak. It don't matter how you look. As long as you're comfortable in your own skin, it's the most powerful thing. So, brother, continue to shine. Continue to trailblaze and them things. So, man, have to show love out here. Real bars, cuz.
Give them their flowers, cuz.
No, but this is about you, man, getting your flowers, blood.
Say that.
You get me? Because what you lot have done, like the way you lot did it as well, it was it was never seen before like that. It was never done before like that.
I keep telling this brother, blood. Like, you see me,
it
I'm
will
biased,
go down
bro.
in like, no, but this is like history,
But this
bro.
is what I keep telling him.
Like, he's inspiring people of a larger, like the gym man them who think, yo man are ballers, but you get me, you think like you have to be like Trey, like I got Trey on this slim ass thing right now. But then you've shown that you can do the you get me.
So to be fair, look, and I'll always say this, and I've said this numerous times, in the sense where I didn't set out to be different. You know, I didn't set out to say, "Rah, man, I'm going to be 17 stones. I'm going to love Bang Gym. You know, I'm going to be the first." I didn't. I set out just to be me. You know what I'm saying? But if we joke about it, that's my younger brother, bigger arms me. If my older brother was here, you'd be like, these man are a wrestling trio. You know what I'm saying? So we are of big genetics. You know what I'm saying? But I set out to be myself.
Nation of domination, fam.
No, real bars, because
real talk.
Yeah, we coming. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying?
Ma Henry, Godfather, Farouk blood.
Yeah, come on.
See them man there, yeah. Shout out the rock, but them man there was the steel blood. You get me, like?
Come on, so, and I say this, right? And I always went through that whole, look, I understand that, you know, people like to put each other in a box. I understand that. And look, a typical footballer is like little man. It is the, you know, because you have to run around. And I understand that. But for me, more than anything was that I was going to be unapologetically myself. I was going to be true to myself. And don't get the game twisted. I'm 41 now, so I can speak different to how I was speaking at 18, where, you know what I'm saying, you're like, oh, but I've got to be like this, or I've got to try and play catch up. But at the end of the day, I always was. My default settings was going to be me. So, look, it's funny because I always say, we've all got an autobiography, we've all got a story to tell. And my story's not any different from you in the sense where, bruv, you was being you. I was being me. I weren't trying to be anything different. And listen, I give blessings. I give thanks. God, everything I achieved in this world was from this Almighty, and I continue to say, God bless and that. And then, of course, listen, I got a family that's always had my back. I've never done this alone. But no, man, look, I don't not realise what I've been able to accomplish. I don't not realise that I've been able to achieve. I realise it, you know what I'm saying? But I think for me, what the blanket is and what I feel is, you know what, at the end of the day, I was being me. So when people say give flowers, I'm like, you're going to give me flowers for being me. Do you know what I'm saying? So
yeah,
I kind of be
again,
like,
I always caveat, because obviously we're brothers, innit? We've grown up together, like, and I've seen it firsthand. I've seen the work rate. And it's like, it wasn't easy. Like, my man had to go to Lithuania, bro.
That's what I'm saying. I want to take it back before Lithuania, because I know, you understand, that the thing is mad. Yeah. So you lot was born in Izzy, Nigerian descent.
Nigerian descent.
Nigerian jollof,
Nigerian, the best jollof. So we just put that out there. You know what I'm saying? You want to comment? We can have a conversation.
We can go back and back.
But yeah, Nigeria. Listen, we was raised in the 80s, and this is the time to a traditional Nigerian household. You know what I'm saying? Whereas, you know, if they had cameras in the household back then, our parents would have been done for abuse. You know them one, whooping up.
I lived that generation in the dark. I'm only a couple years behind you.
Yes, so you know, in the sense where they wanted brother, sister, doctor, lawyer. That was it. Do you know what I'm saying? Very educated oriented. That's what it was. It was very strict. Like up until, I think the first time we went back to Nige was, I think I was 13.
I think I was
about 9 about them times. Yeah. So listen, we was never too far away from our roots, even though the first time we went was at the age of 13 for myself, because the household was very Nigerian.
Bruv, we lived in London, but the yard was Nigeria.
Yeah.
That was like me. Like my yard, but my yard was yard.
Yeah.
Like it was yard.
And people would know.
Yeah.
This is what I'm saying. So we grew up in an estate. People knew the house.
What estate in Izzy?
Mayville Estate.
Okay.
Mayville Estate. So we grew up in an estate. So it was, and the one thing we're all fathers now, and I think the one thing that I miss from my kids is having that estate, that community feel.
Yeah, cause
you know what I'm saying? People knew, like, they knew how we was with our parents, so our friends acted the same way with our parents. So they knew our parents are strict, so when they was around them, boy,
hello,
they
auntie,
come on,
how are you?
auntie, uncle,
Parents is like, yo, what's good? Yeah, for now.
And that, for me, I thought that was such a beautiful, and I remember discussing with my mum, and mum was like, look, your friends were always cool, always polite. And I was saying that because they saw how we were with you. So we would get our ass whooped. And at them times, parents would feel no way with knocking another child. If you was rude, bam, you know what I'm saying? And they'll go tell your mum, they'll say, why? Because you was rude, you get another hit.
You get a next slap.
So that was, for me, that was the estate. And I think that was a beautiful education before the education. You know what I'm saying? But
I could just remember though, like, the times where man will be out, like, from what, say, 10, 11 o'clock in the morning till 9 o'clock at night. Yeah. Just kicking ball.
Hold there.
Just kicking ball. 4 benches. Man of there. Just kicking ball, kick-ups.
60 seconds.
That's all man knew. Nothing else. Whereas And that's where it all started.
Look, do you know what the maddest thing is? And
So you lot were close from young?
oh, yeah.
Or like, because him and his brother, like, it's mad. Every minute, dog. It's like Kane and Undertaker.
No,
yeah,
but that's
it's
what it
hacking
was.
off.
But me and my older brother, it was exactly the same.
Yeah.
Like, it was exactly the same. Like, and it's personalities. I don't know how T is and I don't know how his brother is. I was very dominant. My older brother's very, very laid back.
But I couldn't.
He's laid back.
So he's the laid back
Carter's the one that's...
Okay, so me and Carter,
Yeah.
hey, big sorry, T. Me and Carter the same. You know what I'm saying? Salute.
So Carter's...
So and my older brother laid back.
Yeah.
And then it would just be a moment where it'd be like, "Bruv, don't disrespect, man."
Yeah.
And then boom. So I was very much that. I was the middle one. So I was very much, nah, man, nobody can tell me, nobody rah rah. And he was just laid back. So the arguments me and my older brother had, me and him haven't really had it.
Yeah.
Because
But I couldn't stand him, bruv.
yeah, it was
Yeah.
about,
Like, he
you know,
was that-
yeah, man.
Because he thought he was
that-
bad, innit?
brother.
See, I used to piss you off, innit?
Like, I used to be like,
Because you're the youngest.
I
like,
control-
I'll
I could just
spin
hold
you,
it.
know.
So
But
I
you
could
hold
go to
it
the
like...
oldest and be like, I beg. Back
I'm
it, bruv.
patting it.
Yeah.
Chat to your brother, blood, because he's only...
To chat to your brother, you know.
Oh my! What, when we was young, we couldn't stand each other. Like,
Proper.
he was like, I'm the annoying younger brother. I was like, he's the annoying bully older brother.
Yeah.
So we was the dynamics when we was younger was just shifted all around.
Yeah.
But then as we got older, it was a thing where my mum was always like, yo, like, it's you three are you three. It's you lot against the world, cuz. Like, I don't want you lot to argue about money. I don't want you lot to argue about gal. I don't want you to hold malice between each other. So my parents instilled that in us from early.
Yeah.
Like, from early. So as we was growing, even though we was having these arguments, beefing each other, 5 minutes later, we busting joke.
That's what, you know,
Yeah, I mean.
I'll say that, right, is I always say this testament, and I can't fathom anybody not having a relationship like me and my
Yeah,
brothers.
okay.
You know what I'm saying? So I think it's the
We
norm.
think it's normal.
I actually think it's the norm how wherever you see one, you see the other.
Yeah.
But we know it's not. You know what I'm saying? And I remember, because you laugh and chat with mums and that. Do you know what I'm saying? And it came down to when mum used to whoop our ass, we all know you'll have a face. Then she'll call you in it and you'd be like, I want to show her that I'm mad. But as soon as she walked in, unease your face.
Straight.
So she installed this no kind of keeping grudges.
Yeah.
Straight off. So she'll whoop our ass, we'd have a hard face, she'll sit us down, tell us why, then the face is done, you leave, and then all of a sudden, you know, look, at the end of the day, love's love. So our parents were very much like, look, you lot are brothers, regardless of what, no argument will ever supersede your blood, period. So now, and it's funny because I think some people can't get their head around thinking, oh, you man must never argue. Let me say this. Let me just put this shit, and let me put it out here, yeah? We are brothers, best friends, and business partners. Bruv, we argue. I'm
All
talking.
the time.
There'll be times where if you was hearing an argument outside, you'd be like, oh, these men are just wrecking the room. Like, no, but like he said, brother, half an hour, depends on the big, maximum an hour, maximum a day, because we've gone separate ways.
Yeah.
But then we're like, all right, bruv, what's the deal?
But we
And-
need each other. So we might have an argument and I'll be like, yo, B, you got to be here tomorrow.
100%.
You know what I mean? So there's no, you can't
yo, we
even just
got an
hold.
event.
You
Yo,
can't hold
yo, we got a
it.
photo
You
shoot.
can't-
Yo, yeah.
man's got to do this, man.
Yeah,
Got to do
yeah.
that. So, like, eventually you just, that malice you was holding is gone because
it has to go.
now you're chatting about making peas and
Yeah, you're gonna steal
doing
the
stuff
bread.
together.
You
and
can't-
then
that
you
can't
get-
run.
So you can't run. So,
Yeah.
I mean, we've been pretty much blessed to be able to get on the way we get on because we know it's not normal, innit? But we do catch up. Like just last week, big argument, bruv.
Massive.
Like, all three of us. You get me?
Like, it's 'cause people, when we try to explain that, people are like, no.
It's like, hell
Like,
no.
what?
Bruv,
family,
nah,
bro.
man.
We are-
But then I also will say this as, and I honestly believe this, but if you haven't argued with your best friend,
It's not...
You're not brethren.
You're not
Yeah,
brethren.
it's not that deep.
You're not
It's not that
real.
deep.
You're not.
Yeah.
You're not
real,
that deep.
yeah.
I think if you're afraid to piss your brethren off,
Yeah.
you two ain't tight.
Yeah, you two ain't like that.
But I remember my best friend, honestly, I've known him longer than him. So we went to nursery together at 2. And I remember, but we didn't have an argument until 23, 24. And I remember sitting there, I was like, nah, man. Fuck this. We gotta argue.
Yeah.
Because right now this seems too superficial.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I don't want to say this
Yeah,
just in
yeah,
case. You don't, bruv. So I swear down, we argued about
Nothing.
none.
Just random.
Just to go as hard as we can to know But if we don't come back from this, we was never
Yeah,
brethren.
it weren't real.
And that's what I always say. Like, you've got to be able to argue, because anybody who's really for you can't always agree with you.
I say with my gal, that if I stop arguing with you, that's when I don't care.
Yeah.
Because she's like, oh, you're always arguing, da, da, da. And then I'll shout like, if I lose the fight, then worry.
Yeah,
And then I'll
real
walk away.
bars,
Like,
real
you get me?
bars,
Because
real
for me, it's
bars.
like, if I lose that passion in me, dog, it's dead. It's dead.
Man. But the worst thing is, we're going to come and we'll always bring this back. I say this to my son, like, you know, when their man feel like, oh, you're shouting at me, or the teacher's shouting, or the coach is shouting at you. I said, listen, time the coach stops saying you're not putting in the work, that's when all of a sudden it's done.
Like him, he's like, he'll like, honestly, his last game, I think he deserved man of the match. Him and his other brethren. It was out of the two, I thought they were the best players. If it went to either of them, I would have been like, that's it.
Yeah.
Some next shoot got it. He never got. Then the last match before that, he was like one of the two again. He don't really get man of the match. He come over, Dad, you see how I played? I said, yeah, you played proper. Like, yo, you didn't start. But when you came on, it was 1-1. You ended up winning the game, couple assists. Unlucky to not get a goal. You done your job. Nah, but why am I getting man of the match? He never gives me man of the match. I'm like, because you never played to the level he thinks you can play. So he's pushing you more to go harder.
Yeah.
Then he looks at me and he's like, all right, cool. Because I say that to him, that tough love. So I say to him, I'm your dad, bro. Like, your mum, you're gonna get the muddy cuddling. I'm showing you thug love. It's tough love, bro.
100.
But it's still the love is still as real as your mum's.
Do you hug T?
Blood. When I wake up in the morning, he hugs me and I kiss his forehead.
My brother.
Every day. Him and his brother. Make their breakfast.
Because I love that. You know, because that's
we have the emotional bond.
That
emotional bond.
there. Bam. Because I was going to land that, because one thing I didn't want people to come out and be hearing this, that you've got to have this certain, man, them are this, man, them are that. Nah, man, we the same. Like, bruv, every morning and every night. I mean, to me, I've got 2 girls as well. So it's more as well. Like, you know, but with the boys as well, bruv, it's a hug and it's a, I love you. When I walk the door, I love you.
Every night I tell him I love you.
And that's what it is. But at the same time, their mums can't teach them to be men.
Yes.
Do you know what I'm saying? So just like us, like and I laugh with my boys, like I'm the way I am with my mum at 41, I kiss her cheek, I hug her. I'm like, and the way he is with his mum, he kisses his cheek. That's what boys and mums are supposed to do. And I was like, look, not being funny, but you see me hug Pops, but Pops has got a different allure because there's a manoeuvre that you have to manoeuvre in well. But that's what I love what you come out and said, in the sense where, nah, man, I've got to teach you with elements of how I want you to shape to be able to take on the world. But don't best believe we've got an emotional as well as a physical bond. So that's dope, man. I love that. Real bar. And this is how I know we grown, because we'll always bring it back to our kids. We'll always bring it back to our kids. It always goes back to the youth. It'll always go back to the youth.
So, we got a lot of Akinfenwa boys.
Yeah, man. 9.
We got a lot.
We got 9. The next generation. 9, 10.
Well, how many siblings? Because is there more than the 3 of you?
No, there's 4. So we've got an older sister.
She's the oldest.
She's the oldest. Then we've got 3 boys. Sorry, 3 brothers.
3 brothers.
And then he's got 2 boys. My brother's got 3 boys. I've got 3 boys.
So what was she involved? Like trying to stop the scraps and...
What was the scraps?
Or like she was busted, or like she was tag teaming with the oldest brother.
She was
we would call my sister to bang up man.
In the state.
Oh, you had that sister.
Oh, we had that sister.
You had that sister.
We had that sister.
You had that sister, bro.
She was on all the smoke.
She was on all the smoke. The worst thing is, it was. And it's crazy because now, I remember her being like 6 feet tall. She ain't even 5 foot
like
2.
4'11".
So
everything looks bigger.
I was looking at her. This sister, she is real mean. I look at her now, she like our baby sister because we're all big in that. But no, she was the one. She was the first one to ever hit me in my face, like literally,
like proper.
Like mum told me off, I walked away,
swear ass off your head.
Swearing off. She heard. Then mum came in. Come and was like, boss, Bio, what's his wrong? Fast was like, Mom, Bio swap. I was like, I got walked twice.
The double beat, blood.
Bro, I remember I was in a room, like, you know, just as a younger brother.
You probably witnessed bearing this.
I was laughing.
Yeah.
And then went back into the room, like
it shapes you, innit? It shapes you. You know what I'm saying? It shapes you. But we even getting back to the beginning of the story, I remember mums and pops. So my older brother went university, my older sister went university. They was very big on that. Then it kind of got to me. And I was like, look, I decided from 5.
I was gonna say, when did you get into ball?
5. So 5.
Was your dad Liverpool? Because obviously,
No, he was Tottenham.
Nah, he's Tottenham.
Yeah, I know.
Okay, so this is fucked.
Yeah.
You're born in Izzy.
Yeah, cuz.
Your father's Tottenham.
Yeah, cuz.
And you support Liverpool.
Yeah, cuz.
So how did that happen, blood?
John Barnes,
man.
John Barnes was it? John
Barnsley.
Barnes
Was he the first black player you saw? Because
for me it was.
every black youth, it was a black player.
Yeah.
So for me, it was Righty.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So I straight going to Arsenal. Bam, I'm there, blood.
So to be fair, and I was saying that, I think if I'd clocked Righty, I think Righty would have been Arsenal. But again, you follow suit with your older brother. So my older brother was Liverpool. My older brother was Liverpool.
You Liverpool as well?
Yeah.
So all three
of us are Liverpool.
Okay. Sis as well?
Nah, she don't
business.
She weren't really business in them things. But yeah, John Barnes was the one where I was like, but do you know the thing for me? I love dribbling. It's funny because I made it as a professional and played nothing like him. But when I was a youngster, believe it or not, I played exactly like him.
What was your position? Wing?
No, I was a striker.
Okay.
You know when, and I'd say this, and it was probably more back then when we played that, there wasn't a position per se. Like,
but people just gave it to you.
Yeah, I mean, because I...
But where you felt most comfortable was...
It was the styles of forward.
Yeah.
I'd love playing like Barnes.
Believe it or not, bruv, he was fast, bruv.
Yeah, like, you know, I played centre-back for my district. So my district team was Joe Cole, Jay Boothroyd, John Alls. It was star-studied. I couldn't get it up top. So I was a proper centre-back, like I was that. My older brother was a centre-back, so he would have been, if he played, he would have been like Ledley King. I keep saying it, but he didn't want to play the game.
I was a centre-back as well.
But that's what it was.
Okay.
It was, you know, we balled, like we followed suit. My older brother, he was that. Then me followed suit. But the love for football at 5, so I used to play, my brother's 3 years older than me. So at 5, I used to play with under 8s, so my brother's years. So then when I played with my age group,
you're ready.
It was it was real light work. And I won't even, this is not being arrogant, it was real light work. And I was a big set anyway. So then, and that's what it was. So 5, I was like, nah, man, I love this game. And then that was it. John Barnes coming to the frail, Liverpool. Then I decided. I remember this, we played downstairs, and this feeling I got. So at this time, maybe I'm about 7, maximum 8, my youngest son's age. So my older brother's 11, so it's about that. So I remember coming into the pitch, so my brother's already in there, and I come into the pitch, and so they've split, and both of them, so my brother's on one team, and his age group's on the other, and they both were arguing for who I should play with. So I'm 8, and I remember that feeling. I was like, oh, I'm going to play this game. Like, if that's what it is, where there's nothing on the line, but they want me to this, and I'm the youngest, I was like, no, man, I'm playing. And that was that was a moment where I was like, yeah, man, this is me.
So 8 years old is when you said, I'm taking this seriously.
Oh, 8 years old. I'm like, 8 years old, and it was 8 years old, and after that game, where I was like, oh, but these boys are 3 years older than me, and I was better than the majority of them. My older brother was always the one I wanted to be like. So he was the first one to know how to side foot. I used to toe punt. So when he used to play, he used to handicap me in the sense where, he has the technique. Yeah, so he was always one I was trying to emulate. So everybody I was better than bar him. Yeah. And I think maybe two or three others of my brothers. But everybody else, I was like, oh, you lot dead. I'm 8. You lot rubbish. Or I can hold my own.
Was you in a team at that time?
Nah, man. I remember.
You were just kicking ball with the man then?
Just kicking ball. And this is what I'd say, which I think nowadays people...
You don't have that.
That's what I was going to say.
Everything's structured now. You don't go kick ball. Like, I kick ball with my man then.
Yeah.
And then we ended up in a team when we was like 11.
So, and this is what I'm saying.
Like, he's had 3 teams.
Yeah. My sons
none.
My sons
it was 11 when we started.
My sons have had bare teams.
Yeah.
And like, to be fair, I'm very conscious about all this academy top football. For me, go play. Just go play football. Go play on a Sunday. I mean, I played for Semra. Go play on a Sunday. And work your way up, but just go and play on a Sunday. And this is what, when you say structured, that was what I was about to say. We played from 10 o'clock till 9 o'clock. Maybe stop to get ice poles. That is it. But so for me, that's a level of training that is like no other. Whereas you go to an academy and they'll structure, we're going to do this, we're here. No, man, in training, within that day, you've worked on kicking the ball up in the air, you've worked on technique, you've worked on fitness, and this is just, you're just doing it. It's work without knowing you're working. And that was the beautiful thing. And you worked on mental toughness, you worked on physical toughness because you weren't calling your own fouls. It was just an element of growth that of course you can get taught that in academies. I don't knock that, of course you can. But there was an element of, we were doing run-outs. We were doing
Knock down
ginger. These are talking about when you're running at full pace.
Yeah,
you're like, but I can't get caught.
Nah.
And then you element that, but I'm gonna go play football.
Yeah.
But I got to run from there to here. But I was doing that for half the day. So there's whole elements which I just think that, and we'll always say this. Our parents will say we're softer than them. Like I said, we will say to our kids, "But you're softer than us." You know what I'm saying? And it's just a knock on, and that's which I think there's pros and cons in society, and I totally get that. But that was where I remember at 8, come back to the story at 8, I was like, "Nah, man, but I'm doing this." Like, and I think, and it to the point where we touched on this when we did the documentary. My parents had known.
Yeah, that's out. Go watch that on Prime.
Oh yeah, say that. Check it out. You know what I'm saying? So I remember talking, and I was so determined that my parents were just like, you know what, we're fighting a losing battle. Yeah. And that's when I look at it, I was thinking...
So what, your parents didn't want to kick ball?
No, it wasn't that they didn't want to.
Like, they knew you was good, but they're like, well, you like...
man, go study, man.
Especially African players. African parents like, yo,
go study.
Read your books.
Yeah.
How do you think you're going to go make it? That's like one in. That's how
they're like, read your book.
And they didn't really see them as... They didn't see that as a job.
They don't see that. They see it as a job, innit? Whereas we now know what you can earn. So now, the kids be living vicariously through their kids. Because they're like... But back then, they didn't see that as a job. Read your books. That's how it was. But this is to the point where, and my parents are that. They were stubborn. They was like, this is what you're doing. Like, best believe. My mum will still be here. She says this is black. Best believe it's black. Oh, you know what I'm saying? There's no two ways. Hey, mum, it's black. People, it's black.
It's black, yeah.
And when she leaves, I beg you, it's white. But that's how, so to the point where she was like, you know what, bruv, go for your dream. That was how I knew, mum knows I'm determined for this. And then, of course, I was always going to say, once I made my mind up, nobody was going to go and change my mind for it. So
your journey, man, it taught me a lot, because, like, seeing it from the outside as your younger brother, I was like, bro, this guy, he's going in. Like, I would have given up. Like, you know what I mean? I at that age, I'm not saying that I would have given up, but looking at going here and then rejection, going there, they might say you're too big. Flying across the river to a place where it's just... Well, I remember I went there at 14. I went to Lithuania at 14.
I was going to say, what was the... So before Lithuania, what was the difference between Nigeria and London the first time you went there? Was it like... Because I remember the first time I went to Jamaica, I was 4.
Okay.
Yeah? So it's like... Then I went 10. And it was still like... Then I got sent when my mum sent me there. So you know when you get the sent one?
You get sent, yeah.
When I was 16.
Okay.
Then I was like... Blood clot.
Yeah.
Yo, this woman really want to send me over here. So I'm dead now, fuck.
Yeah.
Actually, the first time we went to Nigeria, it was decent.
Yeah.
The first time we went to
Where in Nigeria are you lot from?
We're from Lagos.
Okay.
Like, we're all from Lagos, but different places, Abeokuta, Ogun State, like different states in that. But yeah, the first time we went there for 6 weeks. Don't get it twisted, it was the longest 6 weeks.
Longest
ever.
6 weeks.
Felt like we was there for like 2 years.
Yeah, it was so
mad. And then
we
the
went over
culture
Christmas
shock,
as well.
Yeah, it was Christmas. That time, was that the first time?
That was the first time.
Yeah, the first time we went over Christmas, sickest Christmas I've ever. I still remember it now, because they celebrate Christmas different. Like, everyone comes out. It's not like people are in their yard.
Yeah. And it's not cold. The biggest thing for me is it's not cold.
Yeah, so everyone's out celebrating fireworks everywhere. So it was just, for me as a youngster, I think I was 9 at the time, but it was mad.
Yeah, I grew up massively. I remember telling this story. I was like, we went out there, we went to a party, and so I'm 30, my brother's 16, my sister's 19. So we went to this party, and there was just a rule where I was like, bruv, proper, these are grown, it's my sister's age. But I was always offsides, you know what I'm saying? I was always offsides. So I remember I went to this party, and it was just a house party, and everybody was just dancing. And I just see people just shifting. So man and a girl dance, and then next time I just see a man go dance and the next girl. So I'm thinking, wow, this is just sick. Like, what, bro? So I remember seeing this girl, and I was like, oh man, I want to dance with her badly. But you have to cut in, and you don't even say nothing. You just go and and then you just shuffle a man out, and he just carries on. So I was like, raw. So I remember, guy, this is why I always say to my brothers, they're always there. So I went to my older brother. I was like, listen, bruv, see this girl over there? Cause man will dance with her, bruv. So I begged, do me a favour. I was like, bruv, go cut in on that dude. So that means I can cut in on you. Because it's blessed, isn't it? My big boy went, say less, cuz. I just went in there 2 steps.
Just went...
Bruv, just shuffled the dude out. And me,
big as well.
I was in awe. I was like, bruv, he just went and shuffled this. The dude that he doesn't even know the dude. What if the dude turned around and said, "What you doing?" But he just said, the dude just shied on. So I waited like 10 seconds, and I was like, "Yeah." So and he was like, and then he bopped out, and I was like, and at 13, I had my first kind of dance with a stranger, like at this party, and then she was like, I was like, yo, man, Nigel's
You lot love the dancing thing. Is that when you was you lot on the dancing from young as well?
We grew up on the era of house party, Michael Jackson.
Kid and play and all
we used to
that.
go to raves in suits, blood. White ones.
Yeah, white loafers.
White loafers.
You lot going to suits like yardies.
Yeah,
all
bruv,
white.
I swear to you, white loafers to the point we was dancing so much, so gone, so I could just slide.
Yeah, bruv, it was listen.
Nah, son up.
Oh,
Man said the white suit.
Oh God, cuz. Oh God.
Man, them watching this, they will know.
Man, them that know in our era.
They know.
They
will
will know
knew
the
You man would know.
They would know.
You don't know for the white suits.
We used to bust out a routine and that, man.
Yeah, middle
I
of
guess
the
you
dance
man
floor.
practicing that yard.
Middle
no
of the
lie.
dance floor.
Because it's got to be in sync.
But
Yeah.
it was mad. Like, you know, it was, again, which I'm trying to tell people, it was 5 solid hours of fitness training.
Yeah,
solid. Like at the end. And then, but we got the night bus home on suits. It was just
Night
what it
73,
was. Cuz.
Yeah,
all the way
because that
round,
just goes straight,
that
boom,
goes straight
to
anyway.
it. Yeah. Go all the way to T.
Yeah, because I'm in that yard, man.
Hey,
Sorry, man.
bruv, listen.
Bare patches.
Yeah, man. You had to put the suit back. They put the suit jacket on.
Yeah.
Man.
It's mad.
Man, it was sick. And my man to go get no bartender. Man, they weren't really fast with cash and that because bartender. Hey, no, man, glass of water.
Man can't dance like that no more in clubs.
What?
cuz.
My back would my back would give out, like.
You're finished.
What? But I do
no,
think the
no,
kids
no
missed
more.
out though.
They missed out,
They missed
man.
out because when they got them man don't really
Man, you
have
have to
fun
get
like
a
that.
table and just
And
they
just,
don't really
yeah,
have
cool
a
off.
thing and then cool
Yeah.
off. Nah,
They
back
don't
in the
really
day,
have
like, we
fun.
was
But yeah, man. So
dancing,
that
bro.
was all. That was all. So we talk about 17. So that's all when I'd gone to college.
Was you at a team by then?
So yeah, so I was at 17. So I thought I was going to sign pro when I left school. So that's how. I keep trying to say
Yeah, because
this to
16 is
people.
normally when you get your pro.
So and I was saying this to people, right? And I was like, whenever I met somebody, and this is not arrogance, whenever I met managers, so managers that managed me, they would be saying the statement, but you know, you're the best player I've seen, you know. And they'd be like, listen, I've had hundreds of kids and you're the best player I've seen. So you know when you hear that, like I thought I was good anyway. I knew I was good. So when I'm hearing that on
You
top
had the
of that,
confidence. You didn't need an arm around your shoulder.
But it was validating my confidence that managers who were managing me were like, I've had some good kids, but
Your levels.
your levels. So me, I'm just thinking, at 16, I'm gonna walk in. I'm just gonna sign. Like there's nothing. Nah, man. I kid you not, I was going on trials. I think my first trial was Orient. It was like, nah, man. Like, and Charlton. These are like the ones where you could go in and trial and their scouts would go down and be like, and it was all coming back the same. You got something, but I think you're a bit big. It was racking my brain. I was like,
What was you weighing then?
but the maddest thing is, I saw a picture when I was 17, but I looked small.
Yeah, but you still look.
But for me,
You're
I was
still
small.
bigger
so
than the
it
average,
was-
though.
But you know, the
You know
crazy
what I
thing
mean?
is, what I couldn't get my head around, because I was like, well, once you train, you're just going off of we're playing down in the park. You know, once you come and say, well, if you want to continue to play, you got to stop eating this or you got to be training this, man. That's what I thought that was the easy part. But boy, I was just hearing that, and I remember it's funny because I remember at 16, I went to go play for this men's league. And again, when I mean I was confident, like there was St Mary's, they were called DJ Spoonie was in there. He was
sick.
this, yeah. So Spoonie was there. Spoonie would know. Spoonie's been there right from when I was up.
Yeah. From the jump.
And he would validate his story. I went there and it was predominantly blackheads. And I went there and there was a striker. And the first thing I said to him was, big man, I'm taking your position. So you know, all them older brothers are like, who is this cocky
Yeah, who is this
kid?
little youth,
Who
like,
is this little youth,
trying to
man?
pull up
Like,
on
you know what I'm
some-
saying?
yeah.
I kid you not. Free game, his position was gone.
Yeah, he's on the bench.
He was gone. He was on the bench. It was like, and that was what it was. So I was always. The funny thing is, in my mind, football came easy. So when I first heard these rejection, I was thinking, "Oh, you lot got a vendetta out against me because I can ball." But then it started. It was not just one. It was two. It was three. So I was like,
And it was it the same thing? You're too big.
it was literally that. It was that because I won't even.
But then I'm trying to think like strikers, like it was. There weren't no Like the only slim-looking striker was like an Henri blood.
Yeah, so
like
that's what I keep saying.
Like Hasselbank had a bit of weight about him. Brian Dean and them man.
Like, you not, bruv. You look at it, Gifton or Williams. These like, but in my mind, these man, I was like,
wasn't Cameron Jerome?
I'm not bigger than these man. Like, you know, this is how I was seeing it. But then again, I would look at it where, at what I look back now, when you go to these clubs, you kind of need to look
the part.
That was what you know what I'm saying? I'd go to trials in Bermuda shorts, you know, then because I didn't have the full kit. My
like, he's got like the grip socks. Man said grip sock. What the fuck is a grip sock, blood? I didn't have no grip sock, dog. He's telling me about he's got a fucking. He's telling me he wants me to get him a sock, that's got shin pad in it, but it's a sock as well, blood. But it's a grip sock with a shin pad. It's like 2 bills.
That man know all of it.
He knows all of it.
That man know all of it.
Man telling me buy him a fucking water bottle. It's like 80 quid. Come back. That's it, boy.
It's the same with my son. I go off with my son, but my son will know they've got it all. And as much as, and it's the craziest thing because I want them to have what I didn't have, but I don't want them to lose what I did have. That's the crazy what they get. It's the balance that, because it's the same. I'm like, I remember the feeling of having hand-me-down crepe. I remember the feeling of having hand-me-down boots. I remember the feeling of my shorts. Everybody else's shorts were shorts. Mine were Bermuda shorts to my knees. I remember, but what I remember was when it came to. So at first, man, I look at
this suit.
But as soon as the football come in,
that was it.
Bang.
These men were like, "You're sick, you're." So you know that was the element, and that gives you a sense of. But it doesn't matter if I'm different, but this is a level playing field, which I know I'm better than y'all. I was so confident when it came to football. But anyway, coming back to this rejection, I can say it a bit more articulately now because I'm older, but I was very much on this. Bruv, nobody that I've just met is going to determine my dream. So if I'm just meeting you, you're going to turn around and say, yeah, man, you're not good enough for me. That's going to make me stop. I was like, bro, so all these men,
that's gonna push you more. Like you don't know me.
So every time I was hearing, nah, man, you're good, but you're too big. You're good, but you're too big. You're good, but you're too big. I was like, yeah, I say nothing. Watch, because all you do need is 99 can say no. You need one to say yeah. And that's what it was. So I'm like, Bob, I got to keep going till that one says yeah. So at the same time, it was like when I was playing with the old, like the men's league, I was like, Bob, you lot don't know. And I remember somebody saying, right, this brother's 23 and now. I was like, 23? I'm like 16.
Yeah, I'm like, a youth man.
I'm a youth man. So I remember I was giving it to this defender. He was like, yeah, bruv, you're going to play here your whole career, bruv, you're old. I was like, old? I was like, bruv, I'm 16. Man, give me the double look, bruv. So that, all them elements, you're just like, bruv, I know I'm not going to stay here, innit? So anyway, cut a long story short, the opportunity in Lithuania came about.
So how did that come about? Because obviously I delved in a bit. I see that a man's wife was the plug or something.
Yeah, so
that's mad.
That is crazy. So when I was playing for that men's league, I had an agent.
What was it like going from London? Because especially where you are in Izzy, it's very cultured.
Yes,
all these different cultures. Big Turkish environment.
Massive.
Then you got like the brothers. Them.
Yes.
You got the Asians. On both sides.
It was multicultural. All I could know.
Then you're going into like Eastern Europe, bro, where you could be the first black man they see in our real life.
Yeah.
In our real life, dog.
He was.
Like facts.
Cause let me tell you, you know the maddest thing is, right? And I look at it now, and I'm so thankful that God made me go through the process. I wouldn't do it again if I was to sit back and say, Bob, how's your pop? But I'm thankful that he made me go through the process. And one thing I say about when you're young, Bob, you're fearless. So sometimes, like, and I'll always say, and I live by it, the big picture is the biggest picture. And the big picture for me was to make it as a professional. So all the little bits that I went through when I got to Lithuania, I hadn't even thought about it because it wasn't even a factor because the big picture was the biggest picture. So I remember getting that. So they said, this is what they said. I remember they was like, look, They played Cup Winners' Cup at that time, so it was UEFA Cup they play.
Last European trophy Arsenal won.
So it was, sorry, I didn't want to bring that up. You know them ones.
They tried to tell me it's a fake cup, these nerds.
No, don't worry about
Conference League. Conference League,
you're not going to win the Champions League this year.
Yeah, you're not going to win it this year.
See, Liverpool fans, they can just troll like that. They have their own Champions League in their team. I have only put dust in my European section.
I can't wait to get you on our
lie.
podcast. You are going
I'm not
to
looking.
go.
Yeah, look out for that one, people.
You are going to go.
I'm going into hell. You get me? I'm going into hell,
I can't wait for that.
Blood.
But so anyway, so they went, yeah, listen, they pay you UEFA Cup, and they're going to pay you. They were the two things. So again, I was like,
so that was the first readies you ever got through football?
That was the first, yeah. So that was the first money I got. So anyway, I remember thinking, you know what? I'm going to go out there. I know they're going to want to sign me because that was just my confidence. And then I'm just going to come back, and then people over here are going to be like, what, a European team wants you, we're going to sign you. We maybe missed something. So anyway, they asked for a 2-week trial. So that come about where my agent at the time was married to a Lithuanian lady. When I was on trial at Watford for like 8 months.
Okay.
So we played a game. The club president of FK Atlantis come down because he knew the lady, and he was like, look, we like him. How old is he? And this time I was 16. Oh, no. This time I was 17. So I was 17. So he was like, oh, good age, blah, 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 X, Y, and Z. So they goes, look, you want to come out for a 2-week trial. So their league is from April to November. So I went out in September times.
Kind of like MLS still.
Yeah, so it's MLS. Yeah. So I was like the MLS league. So I was like, I'm going to go out. They're going to want to sign me. I'm going to say, no, come back here. Then I'll sign for somebody here.
Yeah, because that's going to get
That's going to get it. So
on the radar.
That was the plan. Anyway, did the trial. After 3 days, it was like, we want to sign you. So their league was finishing in 2 months anyway. So it was like, oh no, I'll sign next season. Just to don't burn no bridge that you may have to walk across. That was my mentality. So anyway, I was like, I'm never going back. So anyway, got back here, nothing. Nothing was happening. So anyway, I had Christmas here, the New Year. So pre-season started in March. So it's like, look, you got to come out in March. The season starts in April. So then I was like, all right, you know what? Nothing's happening here. Our league over here was going to finish in May.
Yeah, May.
So I was like, all right, I'm going to do 1 year out there. So anyway, went out there and thought I was signing a 1 year with a 2 year my option. Ended up signing 3 years. So just signed a 3 year contract. But at the same time, I found out that later. But it was the first time I was like, look, we play UEFA Cup and we're going to pay you. I was like, fuck it. Bruv, once I sign this, I'm a professional.
Yeah.
I'm getting paid. Boom. Boy. So let me just paint this picture. When we went out there in September, the weather was beautiful.
Yeah. Sun.
Oh, Lord. Stayed in this 5-star hotel. Stayed in the city of Clypedo. Bruv, I was like, you know, so that was my thought
That's what you thought you was going back into.
Image.
Yeah.
Bruv.
Yeah, so Antarctica.
In March.
Because I know over there, so hey, Lord of His mercy. Yo.
Oh,
God.
When we flew over, man, look out the window, all I see is white.
Yeah.
I was like, right,
yo, can we even land on the runway?
I was like, what? I was like, no, man, what is... We got out, it was freezing. So I was like, all right, lucky enough is, on the plane, there was... My agent had another player who was a Japanese under-21 international.
Okay. What was his name again?
So
Bob?
it was Bob. So they called him Bob because he had dreads. So they called him Bob for Bob Marley, but his name was Minoru Takanaka. Them strong names there. So anyway, so we then ended up house sharing together. So we got into a flat. Anyway, so cut a long story short. And I would say this though, I will, and when I look back to it, and it was like, they did everything for me. Like, but I went out there.
No hard feelings.
No, in a sense, no, I don't have. No, not one little bit towards the club. Not one little bit. To be fair, not one little bit to the time. Like,
I think it was just the times.
It was the times he was in. You know what I'm saying? I think that the world has.
Because obviously, what happened out there?
So So all right.
Because your best moment was obviously scoring in the final.
In the final, that was the best moment.
That was the pinnacle, and then
the worst moment.
It went left.
Paint first game. So I remember 2 incidents. The first, we had a pre-season game. So
and this was in both incidents happened in Lithuania.
Both Lithuania. So pre-season games. So I've been there probably 2 weeks now. For these that don't know, we had the record, the CD players, the portable CD players. Boom, sitting on a couch. I think I was listening to, I want to say Brandy or Mario's album. But anyway, sitting on a couch. So we pull in, and when we pull in, we pull into AstroTurf, and it's just snow on AstroTurf. So in my head, I'm thinking, rather getting called off because there's no way we can play on this. Pull in, doors open, I see everybody getting off. I'm like, what the fuck? Where you not going? Because look at the pitch. Like, man, above, I see two of the figures push the sand to one side, push it to one side. I was like, oh, bruv, it's probably the divaest moment. I was like, what? Nah.
I'm not playing on that.
I'm not playing on that. I tell you this, like, and I remember watching the game from the bus with my headphones, just being like, oh, you lot are crazy. So that was like, I was like, that was just the first bit. Second bit, so a week later, we play another pre-season game. So now we play, like Arsenal would play Sutton or Bolton, Barnet. So a smaller team. So we played the smaller team. So now it's like Hackney Marshes. So everybody's standing around the pitch, you know. So anyway, game kicks off. So as strikers do, you stand out on the far side. They put it back, play a diagonal ball. I win the first header. So as I win the first header, I do. So I was like, wait, hold on. Bruv, is that monkey chance? So I was like, no. So at this, up until this point, so I've been there 3 weeks now. Up until this point, nothing in it. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, is that monkey chance? So I was like, nah. So anyway, I don't think I touched the ball for a couple more minutes. Get the ball on my chest. Monkey chance. Then I was like, wait. So I remember looking. So they're right. So literally, they're standing. So I'm looking at the brother. Like, I can remember looking at the brother. So anyway, game goes on. Then, so now I'm like in the middle of the pitch. Then all of a sudden, it starts. Zigga, zigga, zigga. Shoot the fucking nigga. Zigga, zigga.
Listen, brother.
What? And when I mean it, right? So that's how it starts off small like that. Zigga, zigga, zigga. Shoot the fucking nigga. Bruv, then all of a sudden, it is just roaring from the stadium. So literally. So it must have been because I'm only thinking.
This weren't your own fans though.
My man's
Hold
own
on.
blood.
So,
Let it drop.
Bruv.
How we just in the whole stadium? That's what I'm like.
So
one minute.
So we're talking about when I say so. There's about 1,000 people singing.
But you know, I thought it'd be like in the way end.
Nah, man, but it was side. So they're standing.
Yeah.
500 were my own fans that joined in with the zigga zigga. I was like, oh shit, this is peak. So I remember going at half time. So I remember just sitting there. And the reason why I can remember this because the manager's talking in Lithuanian. I can't understand a word he said. So I'm sitting there and I'm just sitting there. So I asked, our club captain used to play in Poland, so he can speak English. So I goes to him, but what does zigga mean? He said, they don't mean nothing. They just rhyme it with the word. So I was like, raw. So anyway, boom, we come back out within a minute, chance again. I was like, oh, fuck this. So goals, take me off. I remember the roar when I came off. It's massive roar. I was like, I'm gone. But I was going to go. I didn't get off a bus because it was snow. I was going off of this. I remember this like it was yesterday. So I remember calling my older brother. So I went to the club president. I was like, look, I need to use your phone. This is what I want to paint this picture. There weren't mobile phones.
Because this was like 2001?
2001. No mobile phones.
Brother, man had a 51, I think I had a 5110.
Cars, the worst thing is I didn't. At
no
this point,
FaceTime.
There was none of that,
There was
dog.
none of it. It was MSN.
You couldn't use your phone abroad.
Yeah,
Cars.
You international call your bumper club.
You had to
phone,
get. You had to get a calling
Yeah, the
card.
women caught the £5.
Yeah.
You call from
Calling
Africa,
card.
Jamaica.
Yeah.
So you know,
It was them
when I
times.
mean you was isolated, I was isolated. I remember using his phone. So I goes, listen, I need to use your phone. So I call my brother. So I goes, hey, bro.
Because you're by yourself these times, no?
I'm by myself at this time. So I goes, yo, bro, I'm coming home. He goes, right, man, what's up? I goes, right, man, these men are being racist. So I remember he goes, hey, listen, bro, I won't tell you to stay anywhere that you don't feel comfortable. But if you leave, they win. That's the bar. So I won't even lie to nobody. When I come off the phone, I was still like, fam, I'm gone.
Yeah, you're gone. Your head was...
Gone all that. When I woke up that morning, I give my testimonies to God, call it divine intervention. I remember thinking, bruv, ain't nobody running me out of nowhere. Nobody. And bruv, how the story then pans off is I'll go out, I'll score goals, I'll score the winner in the equivalent to the FA Cup, first trophy in 11 years. First time I get that, I opened up an Adidas store, didn't pay in restaurants. And it was all of a sudden, my fans were They gave me the nickname Zugali because I kept on saying what's up. So that's like Bunny in Lithuania for Bugs Bunny. So my fans took to me, still getting racial abuse from. But what that taught me very early at the age of 18 was, bruv, I can overcome. Like there's nothing that I can't get myself into that I can't overcome. And that ignorance is bliss. That they were scared of what they didn't know. Because, bruv, I was the first black person in the league. There was only probably 4 or 5 in the city of Clypedo, and I think they were students. So, for me, what I learned of that process, and it's crazy because you look at it now, you say, or you ask the question, how did I deal with it, or what was the difference? I didn't even contemplate that I wouldn't speak the language. I didn't contemplate that I would be the only black person. I didn't contemplate that I didn't like the food. None of that came into mind. All I saw was football. They're gonna play me, and I'm gonna play football. That's all that mattered, and that's an element of fearlessness that young people have that I had at that time. I was like, football's the international language. I'm gonna go out there and I'm gonna play this game that I love. And listen, I'll always say that right there set me up. So I tell people this: when you're going through your darkest time, but that can be a time where God is setting you up.
He's testing you.
He's strengthening you for the times where you'll be able to handle it later on down the line. So sometimes it's when you don't answer the question why, you say, help me understand. So then once I understand, I'll be able to maneuver forward. And that's what that whole Lithuanian process. So then when I came over here and people were calling me a fat Eddie Murphy or...
I was gonna say, so when you left, did they want you to leave?
No.
How did that come about?
No, they didn't.
Because obviously you scored the winner, blood, and so you're like King Kong out there, blood.
So the second season,
not like I could say that, blood. Innit? I'm a brother. Like when I mean King Kong, I mean dominant force. Like
say nothing.
If it was like
King Kong ain't gonna show me.
You understand? If it was like I don't know one of the white podcasters cancellation, blood. But yes, sir. You see me?
I said what King Kong was. What you said?
Yeah.
King Kong.
But when I say it about them getting straight, that's why I'm laughing. About them getting straight away. Where you run the it's everything you want. Like even down to like. You gotta say, even down to gal.
Yeah, well, to be fair, I ain't gonna lie, man. Them females out there weren't really mad. Anyway, let's just keep that pushing, like, but...
no, you wasn't, blood. You was blood. One time
when I mean
you was focused. That's good, because that's what I want the people to know as well, because enough man stray on the gal thing, you know.
At that point, at that element, bruv, there was no taking me off. None.
Gal took me, bruv. They took me off part.
Yeah, I was proper on and leaning. I was on a focus thing proper. And I remember the next year, they doubled my money. So what happened? So that year, bruv, every month, I was like, I'm homesick. And that's why, I look at it back and I was like, they actually did a lot for me.
Yeah, they wanted to make it work.
When I said I was homesick, I got on the plane and left. I was like, I'm going home. I came home for 5 days. Like, the flight was 2.5 hours. I think it took me the same amount of time than it did to get me Wales than it did to fly.
I came out there to buck him when I was young.
That's another reason why. Man. So my girl and him came out. So he came out at 14. My girl was at 18. And I remember I was just focused. So she come out. And I remember they were coming. So by this time, I'm used to... But I deemed it as we was a museum.
Yeah.
So people could look but not touch.
Yeah.
So you walked in everywhere and it just went silent. Man, them looked.
Not me, bro. I wasn't used to that shit, bro.
Yeah, you're like...
I was from the ends,
yeah.
bro.
Are you looking at, bro? Are you smack on? Man's trying to dash plates and man in the... Man's trying to eat a meal like man's dashing the plate out, man.
Touchdown, bro. I touched down. We was walking, I don't know where we was walking, to the supermarket or something.
To the supermarket.
We was walking to the supermarket, like one bus passed. I see a couple of youth man on, bro, they're just putting their fingers up. So I'm looking at my brother, I'm like, brother, like, what going? Like, what's this man on? He's like, blood, this is what they do. And then we went to the supermarket. Blood, the whole supermarket stopped.
You know when you paint... I'm trying to paint the picture.
I've got this with Robbie.
So
because I'm mixed in it, so I could kind of blend like.
Yeah,
when I'm in Russia, when I went like we went to oh my god, my mind's gone blank, blood. Belarus.
Yeah.
They're looking at Robbie like they're pointing at Robbie.
Yeah.
Me, they look at me and just
keep it
Drake. Go, blood, like. We know that one. Yeah. Oh my god, big black man. This is like that. Yeah, blood.
Go back 23 years ago.
So even then, it must have been
even worse. Yeah, but they were on it. Like they wanted to let us know that they were on it.
We don't like.
Yeah, it wasn't a curious at that stage. And you know when you've seen skits or you've seen movies where man walk into a bar and it just goes quiet.
Yeah,
But
that was us.
But we walked in but by this time, you know when you get desensitized to certain things.
Bruv,
But
he
by this time,
was just picking up stuff.
but I'm like, yo, cuz this is it. I was like,
what?
I'll always say this. Bruv, I'm very cool as long as you don't. It doesn't matter. 1,000 people can approach me. As long as you approach me right and you don't do me. Bruv, I've got. So it was, by this time, I was like, bruv, as long as you ain't putting hand on me, cuz, or you're not having my face, bruv, like it is what it is. It by this time, he got in and bruv, he's just whoa. But he was just, and he's at 14. He was like, nah, man, what is this? I was like, bro, this is the shit.
See one little girl run
This
up
is
to
how
me,
it is.
blood. She was wearing all black. She just done the Hitler sign, bruv. In my boat, blood.
Yeah, man.
I was gonna say, Lithuania, there's a little Nazi population.
In my
out there.
boat, blood. I hope it's changed now, blood. I don't want to like.
Them times.
I don't want to.
Yeah,
like,
them
I
times.
don't want to paint the country like it's bad, innit?
Yeah, we don't want to paint them with the
We
blue.
don't want to paint them. We're going back 22
We're gonna go-
years. We're going back 22 years
Yeah,
ago.
this is like early 2000s.
Early
Yeah,
2000s. So that's what it was back then. But again, and I would say this, innit? And what I'd like to hope is I know I changed the minds of my fans.
Yeah.
That's what I know. I know that it went from them joining in to then hailing me. I remember we won the cup and they ran onto the pitch and they were ecstatic. They
Tell
were.
the story though, but you have to break down the vision.
Alright, cool.
You
So
gotta break down the
let me
vision.
tell you one thing. So we've just won the cup, and like you do, they run onto the pitch.
Yeah.
So right at this point now, I am celebrating. Oh, yay! And then you know when something comes over you, like you're like, hold on.
You're surrounded.
I was
Brother.
surrounded, and I kid you not, the people that were surrounded by me had no tops on and had the
Schwartz.
Schwartz.
Yeah,
they
bro.
had the Schwarzer tattoo.
Cause
So I've gone from just being in my element,
Ecstatic.
like, to being so wary.
imagine
Yeah,
man
wary.
just jumping and celebrating. You're there,
So
man.
then
You're
all of a
looking
sudden,
around.
I'm
cuz.
like, oh my day. So I'm backing up because right now, at that point, well, man could have stopped me and bounced, and it would have been. So now I'm like, oh, God, this celebration. So now I'm kind of trying to face you, walking backwards, and it was just. But saying that, nothing happened, and they took to me. It's like from then they took to me. And it was like, even that, I was like, yeah, I've done it. Scored it, got the cup at home, but I'm moving. So I remember going to that point, yeah, listen, I'm gone, innit? Like, I don't think I'm coming back. Man said, you don't coming back? It's like, brother, you still got 2 years. I goes, yeah, but that's my option, right? It's like, nah, man.
No, you
like,
signed 3.
You signed 3 years. I was like, all right, whatever. So in my head, I'm thinking, all right, I'll move on. Again, nothing popped off, nothing. And I was like, so I went back for Christmas. So at this time, I went back for Christmas, enjoyed my Christmas. They were paying me back. They were paying me in brown paper bags. So came back and enjoyed Christmas. And then again, went out for the second year. But the next time I went out, I brought my older brother with me. So, like I said, look, I think they did everything they could because they was like, look, we're going to double your money. But but with the conditions of doubling your money, you can only go home 3 times. I also went home 8 times. It's like, you can only go home 3 times. And I was like, all right, cool. Doug goes, all right, they were having a tournament in Turkmenistan. So I was like, look, my brother's going to come to it. They said, oh, look, you know what? We can't because there's numbers and there's hotels. And so I was like, yeah? All right, cool. So then the next day I was like, my brother's flying home. I goes, Bob, I'm going home. I was like, listen, I'm going. So they came and said, oh, no. I was like, nah. Because once I make up my mind, the one thing with
It's
me,
done.
once I make up my
Gone.
mind, it's done, innit? So I was like, nah, man, look, I'm gone. Like, I'm gone. So I went, so I came back. So then when I came back, they was like, all right, look, we're going to double your money, but you can only go home. So I was like, all right, cool. So then that year I went home 7 or 8 times.
Your head
I didn't
wasn't
listen
in
to
it,
them.
like-
My head wasn't in it the second time. I thought I'd only do a year at that point. So I was like, boy, how am I going to get out of this contract? So I've still got a year after it. So when I got home, that's when I got back, I met up with John Fashanu. John Fashanu come in, and then they hadn't paid me. So while I was off, they didn't pay me for 3 months, which then was a breach of contract. So John Fashanu was like, look, it's a breach of contract. I'll be your agent. We'll move on. That was the end of my Lithuania. Then the second season was the second season. It was just there. Then all of a sudden, then the journey again started to try and make my way and my name in the Football League. And went to Barrytown. And these were the times where you was allowed to go to as many teams as you wanted in a year. So I went to Barrytown, that folded, and I went to Orient.
Yeah, because
Boston.
they had to release you, innit?
Yeah, so they had to release everybody.
The whole squad, innit?
The whole squad,
Yeah.
all the secretary, the chair, they just liquidated.
Yeah.
Like, it was the first time of being out of business, and we came in for training. Like, it's crazy. We came in for training, and manager came in, Kenny Brown, and he was like, boys, there's no club. What? Like, there's no club.
Like, they're putting on your boots.
Like, there's no club.
Jeez.
So, like, yeah, man. So literally, after about 40 minutes, we then realised, shit, there's no club. Everybody just got in their car. I was just getting in my car and I drove home. This is Barry, this is Wales. Drove home back to London. So I'm like, fucking hell, I've got to start again. So I went on a month at Boston, and that was League 2. So now, and I always knew
Now you're in the Football League.
once I'm in the Football
Now
League.
it's game time.
I was like, once I'm in the Football League, I won't come out.
Nope.
That was what it was. Got to Boston. We played Swindon. Swindon was in League 1. I think it was the Cup. We beat them 2-1, scored in my debut. That was it. I was like, yeah.
Game time.
I'm game time. Like, boom. So that month, and I remember I was still moving. Like, one thing with me, right? And I remember as young, and I'm trying to teach my son the other way. Like, of course, hindsight's a beautiful thing, but I didn't train. Monday to Friday, I didn't train. They wanted me to that point where Saturday I just turned up, played the game. Then I remember Boston was in the middle of nowhere. So it's like, but
Where is that?
But Boston's like,
I don't even know where that is, blood.
It's like-
I swear they wear black and orange.
yeah.
Like Barnet.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know what they wear.
Yeah,
See?
black and orange. That's
I'm
exactly.
a football man, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm a
That's the
football
key.
man. When these man chat shit, blood, I'm a real football man,
I
dog.
thought you were talking about the States.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
but
You
I
from
know.
Massachusetts. Yeah, man, I thought the Celtics and them thing there.
All I remember getting off at Grantham Station.
I've Grantham, I know East Grantham.
Yeah,
that's where mummy's flipping. That's where your granddad used to live.
Yeah,
travel.
Yeah, blood.
Them out there. I used to get out
be a
there.
sheep.
Then
Be a sheep,
the
blood.
coach used to pick me up. Take me to the game, get back to Grantham, come back to the end. That's what it was. But I was so much in a position where, when my phone, I could have a phone, I could call people, I can get in my car. All these things that I was dealing with now was easy.
nothing.
Yeah.
It was just, I kid you not, I was like, but even though I was like, oh, I got to start again, but it was, I've dealt with being by myself, not liking the food, not having a mobile phone.
In another country.
Middle of another country. I was like, oh, this is child's play. If I have to do it again. So I went to Orient. That was doorstep. I was like, yeah.
Hey, you're local now. Back in
I was like,
London,
yeah,
good to
boom.
go.
There for a month. Didn't play games. So I was like, snap. So then they released me after a month. Then Russian and Diamonds, who were in the league above, we played them in a pre-season game, and a friendly. It was a reserve game, and when you play a game and everything just goes right for you.
Yeah, everything just dropped. Bang, bang. Every pass.
I was just on
Yeah.
fire, to the point when they was like, this is again. It was Orient was League 2, Russian Diamonds is League 1. So Russian Diamonds like, man, we want you. Come in for a trial. Like, cool. Went in there, and I remember. This is when Rushton's used to have
them checkered things.
Rushton's used to have the dressing gowns. So after training, they had all the dress. This is when they had money. So after training, all the players went into a dressing gown. I was like, oh, this is dope. This is life. Oh, I'm gonna get here.
Right, they were like that.
Oh no, they were like that.
I remember them like being on the video printer.
They were proper.
And they had that checkered kit.
They were sponsored by Dr. Martens.
I'd always want to get them in the FA Cup. We never got them. Like. I remember we got shitty Carlisle, bro. I was fuming.
Oh God, good times, Carlisle. I remember playing them a lot. So yeah, and this is for me. I just remember this is how my life was going. I had a trial on Monday, was on the bench for the first team on Saturday.
Wow.
So I was like,
that's quick.
Because it was, for me, it was just insane. And I remember Trevor Benjamin, I know him, big up and that. He was on loan from Leicester. So they must have thought, we're paying my man this P. We can pay, they were paying me nothing. Literally nothing. But we can have him on the bench. Or we can pay calls. So I was like, raw. I've gone from being in a trial on Monday to being on the bench. Like League 1. It's like, now it's happening. That was when I was like, no, now it's happening. We had some ballers, just real ballers in that team. Like, I was there for 8 weeks, didn't play one game.
Dang.
When I knew the writing was on the wall, I was on the bench, our striker, got injured in the first 5 minutes.
You put on a midfielder.
The manager put the midfielder up front, moved
False
the right
nine.
back to centre back to mid. I was like, what the fuck? Right up, you know when I was like,
You're like, yo.
oh, cuz.
Yeah, the penny dropped.
Yeah, right then, because I think on that Monday, in Talbot, it was the manager. It was like Brian Talbot was the manager. He's like, look, big man, like you, rah rah, but I don't think it's gonna work here. And I remember it was the first time that I was embarrassed. I didn't even say bye to the boys I was training with. I literally got in the car and left. He said, listen, you can train, you can eat. I mean, I was like, oh, thanks, Gaffer. Boom. I didn't even
Do none of that.
Didn't do none of that. Didn't even go in the just went in the change room. And I remember Paul Hall, shout out, still big boss of me. Paul Hall was like, hey, big man, why are you changing? I goes, oh, listen, I've got like an appointment. I remember that. I remember that feeling. I remember getting in my car. I remember finding my missus. I was like, yo, man, like I've been released and that. She was like, listen, man, I'm calm, man. Like, it will be all right, innit? I was like, say nothing.
Sounds like she was very supportive, blood. You always need a good woman.
Yeah, man. Like, I won't even lie, man. She was there in Lithuania. She was there when man was going through, like, yeah, man. Like, I keep saying, like, you need that. You know what I'm saying? I keep saying, like, I didn't go for my journey alone. I'll always say I didn't go for my journey alone. And then after Rushden, I remember getting a call. I get a call from Doncaster. So at this point, I was like, wait. Remember my representative said, yeah, Donny wanna, they wanna sign you. I was like, Donny? I remember looking at the league in League 2. Donny was second.
You say, oh, I did bomb. I
was like, wait,
promotion.
What?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I was like, hey, what? So I was like, all right, cool. So anyway, it happened, went to Doncaster. Bam. It was, for me, Donny was the it. Went there, they was like, and I was saying, I was confident. Same bar I said to that 16, when I was 16, I said it to Leo Fortune West. I was like, big man, I can't take a position. But I didn't say it as I just said it as in jest. I was like, hey, big man, I've listened. I ain't coming to sit on the bench, man. I'm coming for your position, innit? Like, and yeah, man, like, but for me, they'd already done the work. They were second. But I remember I scored 4 in 6, just hit it. And I remember the first time was this is when I knew, I was like, oh, I'm on the radar. Because Right and Bright had a TV show, had a radio.
Yeah, yeah.
They had a radio, and they called me up before the game. So I was like, Akinfenwa, like, we hear you doing sounds rah rah, and I was chatting to them on the radio. I remember going on the phone, I was like, yeah, you know what? We're looking forward to, we want to clinch promotion, blah, blah. And I remember I came in, I was gashed. It was Brighty chatting to man. And I went to the fellas, I went to them, oh, yo, Righty said good luck. They was like, oh, fuck off, big time. No, brother, you know I went to the job. Yeah, I just chat to Righty. Yeah, Righty said good luck, you boys. Yeah, guys. It's like, oh, big time, get off here. I remember it, and that was it. Donny, we got promoted. I remember we had like an open top bus in Doncaster. 10,000 people turned up on the town hall. It was just amazing. And then boom, Torquay. So that was, but I did Donny for 4 months. 3 months. Torquay was my first full season.
Yeah, that's when it started to kick.
That's just when I was like, all right, put this on my shoulders.
Like, that's when consistent goals started to come into your game.
Put this on my shoulders. Yeah. I will now go and I will be a namesake in any team I'm at. I'm no longer. This is me.
I'm not second choice.
I'm not second choice.
I am the.
This is me now.
Yeah.
I'm coming in on the confidence thing. I'm the go-to, and that's what it is. And after Torquay, Swansea coming. Swansea was my biggest education to date. I remember everything was just levels. The Liberty Stadium. Went round the Liberty Stadium. Was like, what the hell?
Is that the best facilities you've trained in?
Yeah, as in the team I played for, Liberty Stadium was 20,000 people turned up in League One. First game of the season, played Tranmere, 20,000 people. It's like, yo. So now, of course, you'll have the teams that drop down. So Leeds have been down there, Sunderland's been down there. Pompey. So big teams have been down there now. But them times, from what I can remember, I remember Swansea come up from League 2, come into League 1, bam. I remember walking at the Liberty Stadium, just want to say that first goal scorer and that, but blessings. Walking at Liberty Stadium and just being like, oh shit, this is real. I just remember the players I was playing with, Roberto Martinez, Trundle, Britton, Sam Ricketts, McLeod, Robinson. Like, these were just ballers. And I remember my first 2 weeks, I was thinking, bro, these men must think I'm shit. I was just like, but it was funny, and I was thinking, these men must think I'm shit. I think the manager must be regretting it. But I remember my agent called me, said, oh, just chat to the gaffer. Said, flipping, loving you. Like that. So in my head, I was thinking, oh, shit. Because I remember one time it was...
You're second guessing yourself.
Yeah. So then this is what I'm saying. So at that time, I was like, bro. So we were doing like keep ball. I was like, bro, these brothers are techie.
It's just
like, it was just back, one touch. So I was like, a couple times it was coming off my toe and coming off. So I was like, all right, cool. But again, what I'd always say was my saving grace. One thing I'd always say, and I'll say it now, I think your energy speaks before you even say a word. And I'll always say that I've always had energy that gravitates, even though I'm a big guy. But because I'm a big guy, I'm conscious of not having that bully boy tactic energy. So I was, when I went there, I'd be jokey. They just knew when I was tired, don't talk to me. That's when I'm not a nice guy. But other than that, I was blessed. So I remember they was doing this, I was coming off my toe, I was like, you know what? Let me just show people that I'm strong. Like, so people be like, oh. And I remember I went to shoulder barge one man, like, thinking he would drop. And he stuttered a little bit, like, he didn't really go nowhere. I was thinking, oh, shit. Even my go-to is like, oi, what? And then I remember a week later, I'd flipping caught up to... they had started a week before. So by a week later, I'd caught up to the level of fitness. And I was just there. And Swansea was like my education, playing with better players, better facilities, better managers. Kenny Jackett was still to date a manager that taught me.
He was the one at Millwall, isn't it?
Millwall.
The little short brother.
Yeah.
Proper like, little cock there, innit?
He
crashed up in his interviews.
So
I can't lie.
I Gaffer, why shouldn't I be playing? Yep, sure, B, yep, sure. Yeah. But Gaffer, should I play? Yep. I remember I walked out the route bare times. I was like, Gaffer, why am I not playing? And I'd be more confused when I left. I think, Gaffer, wait, did you just mind mess me? But he taught me the difference of just winning. Came in, it's like, nah, man. And these are times where it was 4-4-2. It's like just winning. Like, and he showed me about complementing. So midfielders that complement, strikers that complement, fullbacks that complement. And before this, you just thinking, oh, we're just getting put together and we're going to play. But it was literally, and that's what I learned that. It was just chemistry, you know what I'm saying? And I learned that. And then after Swansea was the time when life hit me, like, broke my leg, had my daughter. And
that was a tough time.
Is that when the injection started, or was it before?
Nah, that was later. Later. Like when I bought my leg at Swansea, it was probably the toughest time.
Was you panicking?
I was panicking, as in.
Can you get back to that level?
That wasn't. I was never. Do you know what the thing is? It wasn't even about levels at that point. It was about earning. Like, I had my daughter, so before that I didn't have no dependents. So, boy, if you want to go hungry, you go hungry. It was just me and my missus. You know what I'm saying? And she was working, but I had my daughter, and I remember it happening where I left to go and double my money, and it was the only time, and I would never do it again. It was the only time I chased money. So I remember Swansea was like, I broke my leg. They offered me a year on the same money. And I look back at it now and thinking, bruv, you would snap your hand off if a club offered you your same money
when you're injured
and not knowing if you're going to get back. And I was like, what? How I looked at it was like, but I broke my leg playing for you. And I was doing well. So, and then I went, all right, I'll stay on this money now, but when I get fit, you increase it. I was like, nah, man, we don't even know when it is. You just stay in the money. The arrogant or the ego of me was like, nah. When I look at it now, it's the most stupidest. It's the only regret. I only have one regret in my footballing career, and that was leaving Swansea. And I've never chased money again. And then I chased the money, and then they took the contract away. I failed the medical. So then for 7 months, I wasn't earning. So I burnt through my savings within 3 months. Boom, gone. Had my daughter.
So obviously this time the missus ain't working as well.
She's not working.
She's on maternity.
She's not working. So we're at this point, and Bob, I had 2 mortgages. So I had my London house because the family was growing up in London. I had my Bristol house because I was playing for Swansea at this time. So I've got 2 mortgages. Nothing coming in. Thinking, raw. I got my cars. I was like, oh, this is peak. And that's what it was. So it wasn't even an element. I didn't even allow myself to be like, oh, B, are you going to get back to what you was or better? I was like, Bob, I need to get back to get paid, period. And then, so anyway, going through the struggle, Kenny Jackett got the Millwall job and said, B, I want you to come. So I was like, all right, cool, man. Bruv, I'm there.
What's it like playing for Millwall?
To be fair, I ain't gonna lie. You know the maddest thing is?
I've never felt to a Millwall
You
player.
know the maddest thing is? Millwall's the only, you know my
And them
disappointment?
fans really like...
You know, let me tell you something. Millwall's the only club that I'm disappointed that I didn't get to show what I was. Because I was out for 8 months, longer than that, maybe a year. And I remember telling Kenny, I was like, yo, Gaffer, but I haven't played, you know. He was like, don't worry, man. I just need somebody that I know in the squad to bounce off, rah-rah. But second game, he played me. But I was hobbling around, like literally. So when I'm talking about I just had to get fit to get a contract. I wasn't. So my knee wasn't right. It didn't. I just had to show that I could, so I can pay bills. But it's funny because they took to me, the Millwall fans. Like I fuck with the fans when they took to me. Don't get it twisted. I've been there against them, and they've jumped on me. But when I was nicknamed the Fridge, so they took to me. Like it was that, and I'll always have this conflicting. Whereas when I was with them, they were for me. But I've been there when
they're on you.
They're on me. So it's both sides of it. But anyway, I remember Kenny give me an 8-week contract or 3-month contract. After 8 weeks, he said, B, I'm not going to re-sign it. Like, I'm going to have to go elsewhere. We were struggling at the time, I remember. I had 2 options, Northampton or Cheltenham. And I went Northampton. Knew nothing about both of them at this time. Only went Northampton because it was closer.
I was going to say, that's just like out of London.
Yeah.
M1.
Yeah. Only went there just because they were closer than Cheltenham. Best decision I made. Best decision I made up thus far. That it was where I'd found myself. Like, it was like, yo, this is my club. Like, Northampton was the first time where I was like, oh no, this is my club. Like, you know, when I was like, oh no, I'm not second choice. Once I bought my leg and I was like, ooh, I just have to get a paycheck. That what I'm going to be as a footballer, that just was second fiddle. But when I got to Northampton, I was like, nah, man, like, we're going to achieve, or we're going to go and do something. I love my time at Northampton. Came to an end. I went Gillingham, back to Northampton, went to Gillingham again.
Was that the John Terry game?
No, John Terry game was AFC Wimbledon.
It was AFC Wimbledon, isn't it?
Yeah, so after Gillingham...
That's when you first come on my radar.
AFC Wimbledon. To be fair, AFC Wimbledon was... To be fair...
When I first saw you, I thought, like, you see how you're very, like, you're bubbly.
Yeah.
When I first saw you, I said, yo, I hope this man clarts Terry. I was like, he looks like one of the man there, bro. I guarantee he's a madman. You know, with that head looking blood, like, claw him up, bro. All the man there was like, he better claw him, bro.
You know what?
I swear down.
Do you know what?
Was he going to claw him? First 10th minute, 20th minute?
Do you know what makes me
Because
laugh?
he's in the defender, we were like, I remember the first challenge you went up and you cleaned him. Blood, I'm not even a Chelsea fan. I'm not even a Wickham fan. On AFC, I stood up like kid, bro.
You know what makes me laugh?
It was like, yes.
This is what makes me laugh is because...
That was mental.
The one thing I do, because I'm different, man them know it's different.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? So you straight away be like, bro, that's...
That's one of the man them.
But we playing against the man in the cage, guys. What the man doing in the cage playing football? That's what I stood out, and I knew that. Do you know what I'm saying? And it's funny because people be like, oh, he's bowling around. Bruv, nah, man, my knee's smaller. So everything played into being different. You know what I'm saying? And that was it. So Northampton was the time when social media started to kick in. AFC Wimbledon was when commercially, as in on a corporate world, it started to kick in. The Liverpool game come up and it was on TV and it just...
I remember watching that on Sky.
It blew into a different...
That stadium had no light.
Yeah, it blew into a different...
No light.
No, that was...
It was bare dark.
No, that was when we played
Accrington.
Accrington.
Was Accrington?
We played Accrington in that game.
What the fuck is this thing? I said, brother, where's the floodlight?
We played Accrington that game.
Where's the floodlight?
So that's
how did man see?
Mad thing. So that's what AFC Wimbledon was. AFC Wimbledon was that. AFC Wimbledon was where the radar, it was like, oh, it's on a lot more.
Eyes
It was that. The Liverpool
is that the
game
most
did
media
that.
they've seen? Like, but what you pulled, blood.
no, well, Wimbledon,
because
Wimbledon.
there was every.
Wimbledon were big.
Let's
Wimbledon
be dead.
were big.
Nah, come on. Forget the humble thing.
Especially when you done like...
Forget the humble thing. Be real with it now.
No. Wimbledon was big. Like in 80s, 90s.
Yeah, because obviously they turned from Dons went and then they folded and came back.
So they've got history.
Yeah, but
like,
as I'm saying,
you mean the new
Wimbledon.
AFC Wimbledon?
That was
sorry.
AFC.
Yeah, AFC. Oh yeah.
That had to have been the most. Like,
100%. Yeah, no.
There ain't no one down there with no clout like that, blood.
No.
AFC. And
you're going down there, you're making
Yeah. No, AFC. And one thing I did like about AFC didn't feel threatened by the exposure.
They embraced it.
Yeah, they embraced it. Like, I ain't gonna lie,
Wickham did as well.
Wickham. That's your club, though. We're gonna touch on that. But
That's my club. But yeah, AFC. Like I caught up with. But what's my man's name? What was the England under-21s manager up until recent?
Oh, Carsley?
No. The one that he was Watford manager.
Oh, and he got Boothroyd.
Boothroyd.
06, 07, he got them relegated.
Yeah. So AD Boothroyd. So one of the reason why, to be fair, I've said it. I actually don't even hold grudges about him anymore. So if I see him, I'll touch base with him. So I'm not gonna be watching it. Salute AD. But like what else for me is AD was always used to being top dog. He was Premiership manager, got promoted to the Prem. You know, he was that. He come to Northampton.
Ashley Young, all of that.
Yeah, so he had the man then. He was used to
clout.
being like. So he come to Northampton and wasn't expecting a player at Northampton to be getting as much media as him. He was the star attraction.
Yeah.
And that's why I think we caught up he caught up with me. So that's why I talk about AFC embraced it. Like, you know what I'm saying? They just embraced. I was like, what? We got a player that, bruv, the world seems like, nah, man, fuck it. We're running with this, do you know what I'm saying? And they embraced
That's
it.
the thing, it was the whole world. It wasn't just
man.
it was global, bro.
It was global.
Bro.
That was when I was
Global.
to be fair, I wasn't even front. That was when I was like, man, this is crazy shit. And I remember the Liverpool game was that's my team.
That's your team.
That's my
How
team.
did it feel playing
Best
against
moment,
your boyhood club?
But I keep saying, if you can't
Stevie
play...
Gerrard.
That
Gerrard was fucking...
And he's blessed as well, you know.
Yeah, I've never
cool,
met Stevie G. I met
cool.
Frank. Frank's cool. Obviously Chelsea, but
Bought
they're
man a
same.
burger still, bro. The
Yeah,
burger was peasy,
Stevie G bought man a burger out in LA.
That was
and
like
that.
$300 in that.
Yeah, bruv. He was out there, bruv.
What man was doing, flipping...
He was in Galaxy at that time. So it was like, the story was, and it was mad. You know one thing I do remember? I was like, bruv, these men, them are big. Like, they were athletes, shoulders back.
Wham.
Like, wham, you know what I'm saying? They was Skirtle. I remember lining up, and I remember just looking at them like, so there was Skirtle, Henderson, Coutinho, Stevie G was leading them. I was like, Sacco. I was like...
Skirtle and Sacco.
They were centre back.
Yeah.
Straight off the back. Straight at the back.
Still.
I was like, I am running.
Yeah, you have to.
Into both of these guys' chest straight away. Boom. But if you see, I
First
swear
challenge.
to you, I must have given 18 fouls away in the first 10 minutes.
Yeah,
18.
You was throwing
I
about
I remember I was shouting to the ref. I was like, "But why are you babying them? But they got bare money, stop babying." I was just going off because I was like, "Bruv, I have to try and intimidate these boys. I have to let them know." And I remember the first 20 minutes, we was just giving them so much. We was just dropping off. And I just remember, and I always say, this is what I keep saying, he's the best player I've played against. It just seemed like Stevie got bored and said, "What? Bruv, we're still 0-0.
Still playing with these youths,
man. I remember he did a diag ball, dropped his shoulder, ran, they chipped it and he headed it, came back, 1-0. So it was like, oh, this is going to be a long night. And I think then all of a sudden, after the 30th minute, we was like, oh, listen, man, we're going to go out, cuz I beg we just kick these man them. And that's just how we just started making the game gritty. And I kid you not, there's only ever been one time when I scored, and for the first couple seconds, I just didn't know what to do. It's only one. It was that. I remember scoring and just thinking, oh, shit.
He scored against
But
Liverpool.
I scored against Liverpool. Like, all this went in seconds. Then I remember I got grabbed and I ran. And then second half, I remember Balotelli come on. Like, so I'm thinking, Bob, we're going back to Anfield. That's all I was thinking. We're going back to... Are you mad?
You get to touch that sign.
Bob, I was like, God is good. And I tell this story, I said it to him a couple months ago. They get a free kick. As a striker, I'm the last one to get back into my wall, right? As I run past, Stevie G's putting the ball down. Doesn't look up, must have clocked my boots, and all he says is, "Sorry, big man."
Sorry, big man.
At this time, I didn't even clock. I was thinking, what? Get in the wall. He bends it over the wall. 2-1. He scores 2. They beat us 2-1. I don't get my Anfield day. I was thinking, oh, shit.
Whose shirt did you get that game?
Stevie's.
Did you get it?
Yeah,
No,
man.
didn't you get a few?
No, I just got Stevie's. I got Stevie. To be fair, I played with Joe Allen. At Swansea.
Swansea, I was going to say.
So I remember as soon as we got the draw, because to be fair, the leader.
You still got his number?
Yeah.
Yo,
so
no.
yeah,
Hey, what? I want this one.
Let me
I
tell
want
you
that
something.
one.
I was like, everybody else, I weren't. I was like,
Stevie.
I was like, yo, Joe, tell Stevie his shirt. And I went into the room, I went into our change room that next day. I said, let me tell you something, man, you know, against any other player, I'd back it. Any one of you get Stevie G's shirt, it's going to be a problem. I'm telling you.
I'm telling
you that. So them man knew that. So them man knew, innit? So after the game, I remember like we embraced and he signed it. So he was like, look, I'm going to give this one out. It's sweaty, but I'm going to give you. So he signed the one inside. And then, again, you know what the crazy thing is? What I realised, anybody from London going on ITV News is a big thing. I remember the next morning, I get a phone call saying ITV News want me to come on the news. I was thinking, but we lost. What am I going to say? Like, are we lost? And it was the first time, or I know it was the first time for AFC Wimbledon, but there was 40,000 tweets on the game. Akinfenwa was trending. And that was the moment. That I won't even front. It was the moment where the world knew about me. It was the moment where Liverpool fans adored me. And I always say it was a win-win, because they see how much I was a Liverpool supporter. Yeah. But because they still won, they took me in as he played against his boyhood team, he scored, but they won. Yeah. So you know what I'm saying? So it was just on a whole world.
Like it was perfect for them.
It was just perfect. It was perfect for myself in the sense where you look at it now and say, even though I would have liked the draw.
That's how you would have liked the result.
You know what I'm saying? I would have liked...
CVG get 2, you get 1, you get the shirt.
I would have preferred we drew 1-1. Gone to Anfield, and then if they wanted to beat us. But I ain't gonna lie, it was the only time I ever wanted them to lose. Like, I'm a real competitor. Like, game day, I was lifting all of them up. Like, guy in Skirtle's chest, Hendo was getting close, dashing him. I'm a competitor on the pitch. Only one time I ever wanted them to lose. But it worked out perfect, man, for that. And then after AFC Wimbledon, of course, the infamous, we get to the Wembley, I scored a penalty, and then I do the interview.
The famous interview where you channel your inner troops.
Yeah, guys.
I love it, bro. For me, it's one of like, for me as a man that's like grew up on a estate, gone through what I've gone through, to see the real you come out, because your emotions was all over the place, and it's like you was like, yo, fuck this. Man, them this thing here, you ain't ever stopping this thing. We're going and yo, dog. It was. How did that feel?
You know, the maddest thing is, it was anybody that knows me, and you would have got that, and that's what. But I'm an emotional person, and when I get caught up in emotions, I get caught up in emotions. I can't help but be me, and I just remember that's the time when I got released the week before the final. So the manager said, look, we're not going to renew your contract.
Gareth Ainsworth, innit?
No, this was Neil Ardley.
That's it, Neil Ardley.
So Ardley was like, look, we're not going to renew your contract. So I was like, all right, fair enough. Like, it is what it is, innit? But there was no better way. And I always say there's no better way to leave than with a win. You know what I'm saying? There's no better way. So I remember that's what went through my head when the penalty came. I was like, hold on. But this is the last kick for AFC Wimbledon. I can score at Wembley. But I grew up watching Wembley. Like, it's the home of football. It's the holy grail. So I remember telling the fullback, listen, big man, once I make a decision, I make a decision. This is what I keep. Once I decide, I decide. So took the penalty. And then afterwards, Sky came and they was talking about it. And I was like, look, you know what? I'm not even going to lie. Technically, I'm unemployed. So, boy, if anybody needs a striker, hit me up on WhatsApp, because I need to go feed my family, basically. And I remember that was a viral moment. It was a viral moment. And when I mean I was getting offers from Australia, Turkey, China, Mexico, I was just getting. But at this point now, I've got 5 kids.
You want to stay
know what I'm saying?
England?
So I was like, and then boom, I get the call from Gareth Ainsworth. So he's like, look, big man. Like, and I'd known about him, so I've played against him a couple of times, and we just had this real mutual respect. Like, I hadn't really chopped it up with him, but just mutual respect. And I'm a strong believer that you know, everything happens for a reason and timing, and this was God's timing. So, I got to deets this at this. I remember, so I was signed at the age of 34. So I ain't gonna lie, I was like, I'm gonna play 2 more years, I'm gonna retire. Like, that's basically how it's gonna go. So I'm not gonna move my family or nothing, I'm gonna just commute.
Wickham's close to London, bruv.
Yeah. Bruv, you say that, you do that daily, get hit on the M25, bruv.
Yeah, that's true, the M25 is a mazza.
And they're all going through central London, I tell you that it does matter. Do it once in a while, it's blessed. Do it daily, it's peak.
Yes,
So, anyway, Wickham. So, but it was literally just a dream. It was a dream that I've never connected with a manager like I connected with Gareth Ainsworth. He was just, the way he was as a person, it was just something else. And to go there, and I remember we did an announcement, and I remember the social media team of Wickham. I remember when I signed, they jumped up by, I think, 50,000 followers. And I remember they said that. They said, oh, signed Akinfenwa and our followers have gone. And I remember people just comment, oh, it's just a publicity stunt. We've just signed him for that. He's not going to do nothing. He's 34. He's like, that's what it was. And in my head, I kid you not, in my head, I'm thinking, publicity stunt? I was like, I remember I scored 8 goals the last season for Wimbledon. And we just got promoted out of League 2, the league that we not picked Wickham to it. But so I was thinking, and I remember the top goal scorer that season for Wickham had 8 goals. So in my head, I'm thinking,
bro, I
didn't even play that, and I matched. What would you mean?
8 got promoted.
Like, so I'm like, but what's this publicity? So I remember really at that point thinking,
that
what?
rattled you.
Nah, man. Like, I'm here.
Yeah, I'm here to prove a point.
to play. And I remember the same thing. So I remember the first 2 games, the gaffer. So I remember right at this point now, regardless of what, mate, I was a big name signing. You know what I'm saying? So
100%.
At that point, so I remember thinking, the gaffer didn't start me, you know, for the first 2 games. So I was thinking, wait, we need to have a conversation. And this is where our relationship it started. It was cool anyway. But we didn't sit in his office. I was like, gaffer, let's have a conversation. And we walked around. We just walked around the training facility, and I was talking. I was like, gaffer, look, talk to me. Like, what did you sign me here for? Like, what was in it? And he was like, look, you know what? Teams like to sit deep against us, and there's nobody better that if they're sitting deep, once you're in the area, it's a problem. So I was like, so you're thinking that you're only going to play me to sit as the game goes on? I was like, Gaff, nah, man, like there must be a misunderstanding. But Gaff, I've come to play. Like, I've come to be that guy. So he's gone, so basically he was like, listen, if that's what you're saying, I hear you, but when I give you that opportunity, you got a show, man. That's basically how he kind of said it. So I was like, all right, say nothing, innit? So the next game, I didn't start. Come on, scored, but they gave it to the next brother. I ain't holding grudges, but say nothing. But anyway, that I was part of that. So there was like, so Gaff was like, okay, you know what? I can see what he brings. Remember that? Anyway, so by the second game, started, scored, never looked back. I got 18 goals that first season. We just missed out of playoffs that first season. Second season, it was like, yo, we're going to get promoted. There was just we had a conversation at the beginning of the season, like, look, this is game time, like we're going to get, boom, got promoted. I think it was one of my best returns for goals and assists. I was in Team of the Year, EFL Team of the Year. I think I was runner-up player of the year in League 2. It was like, yeah, boom, this is what it is, innit? So anyway, we added, next season, we just survived in League 1. Then the season afterwards, the infamous. And at this point, I won't even front to you. I didn't think I would be playing 6 years. So I'm 4 years. It's the 3rd year. Which is the 3rd year.
So you're 37 now.
So I'm 37 now. So now we played the beginning of the season and we've started on fire. Top of the league up until January. Then we dip. I remember this, I got sent off. And from then we dipped. And then March came and it was COVID. So COVID come in and then they did a points per game. And when they did the points per game, we made it.
Yeah, how did they do the EFL?
So it was the first
Premier League. It was just on pause, and then we went again.
Yeah. Whereas for ours, they couldn't finish that many games. That was gonna.
Because 24 teams.
Yeah, and we didn't have the facilities that the Premier League
of
had.
course.
So they was like, look, we're gonna just do the playoffs, and we'll playoffs by points per game. So I think the first two were automatically. If we had won, the funny thing is, if we had won the game prior, I think we would have been third. So I think we would have gone straight up, but we lost the last game before playoffs. That's how much we was on a run. Yeah. We was on a ridiculous run, but dipped. And then...
so when you went into COVID, what position was you in?
9th.
Okay.
And then
so you're out the promotion.
We was out the promotion, but we had to play the game less, and I think it was on matching points.
Okay.
So when we went into it, we was like 4th or something like that, maybe 5th, but got into it. So anyway, everybody knows how the COVID times were just crazy. It was just crazy. So I remember we had Fleetwood, and I remember I came back first day of training. I did my meniscus. First day of training, bam. But there was no way I was going to miss this. This was, but to be fair, it was dreamland. Like, I didn't even fathom ever making it to the champ.
Because I remember watching your snap them times, your rehabilitation.
Yeah. So no, that was after. That was after the op. That was after we got promoted.
Oh, okay.
So, so anyway, we played Fleetwood, first game. Of course, they're expecting, but to be fair, this coincided with like Liverpool winning the league as well. You know what I'm saying? You know, anyway.
Yeah, the COVID league.
Yeah, I know.
Like, you never see your team lift.
I know, say that.
I see my team lift Premier League.
Yeah, I say that.
With my eyes.
I know, but
couple of them.
When you was T's age and that.
No, I was older than him, bro.
Slightly, though.
What do you mean? I was 15 when we was Invincible Blood.
It's cool. We live in the past. But anyway, say that. No, let's hold that for when you're an arse.
The second one, I was his age. I'm not gonna lie.
Alright, so anyway, so what was good, and I think everything happens for a reason. I played the whole season, but because I'd done my meniscus, they had Fleetwood thought Corsby's going to start, didn't play, blew them 4-1 first game, battered them at their place, brought them back to ours. Anyway, long story short, beat them, get to the finals. It's us against Oxford, and I kid you not, you know when you just know. We just knew. Like, we just
I knew you couldn't lose, you know.
We just
Even
knew.
me, I was like, there's no way Axe losing. There's no
you know
way,
what?
blood.
You know
that
what?
team had a very... They seem very... Because I'm on your snap.
Yeah.
I need the follow back, blood, yeah.
I'll say that.
I got the follow back on the Insta. I need the snap one, blood.
Right now, I can't say that.
But I watched... I see how you lot was in the changing rooms, like when you were training, the whole build-up to that. I saw like there was a...
connection.
Yeah, blood. There was nothing could leak.
You know what the crazy thing? You know why I pay so much admiration to our manager? I think the testament of an individual is somebody who can relinquish power. You know what I'm saying? And he was our general, as in he was our boss. But he had generals, so there was like 5 of us. Which he was like, he was like, run the changing room. If you lot can't, bring it to me. I will have the final say, but run it. And it was such for me, one, I didn't want to let him down because he entrusted me with that part of that leadership group, innit? And it's funny because we used to hold meetings, and I'll always say, and anybody that's been part of team dynamics, I think when you've got a boss, sometimes there can be a feeling that you're just saying stuff because the boss is there, you know, especially in teams. So what I used to really love doing was, I used to, after the gaffer would have a meeting, I'd be like, Gaff, it's cool, can we now have a players meeting? And our trust was so strong that he was never like, B's going to badmouth me or not. And he knew, this is how I want my team to run, this is how you lot go do it. And I remember we had meetings all the time. As a team, we had meetings all the time. And I remember asking a question, and I was like, look, you know what? This is us. There's no coaches here to hold it against you. Who here thinks we can get promoted? So when I mean we've done this all the time, but this was coming closer to it. But when I first did it, I was like, listen, man, them need to raise their hands if we think we can get promoted. So, and I kid you not, everybody raised their hands, which I'd expect. And I was like, let me say this though, don't raise your hands because you feel like... Who really believes. Don't just do it. We're a team. So if you don't believe, don't say it at this point. And if you don't, we'll say, what do you think why?
To do
that
what
we need to then what do we need to do?
What's going to push us to that?
But everybody put their hand up. So I was like, so at this point now, this is no manager. We all have said it. So we have put this onus. So if you say we're going to do this and I say we're going to do this, when we're not doing it on the pitch, we can hold ourselves accountable. Not that we're doing it. This is us. And that was the starting point. And we did it and we did it and we did it and we did it and we did it. So we knew, I kid you not, we knew we was winning that game. Like and it was, one thing I would say was, we were so together that when we was playing, we wasn't, of course, we're not as loud as fans, but we cheered every tackle. Like you could hear, there was nobody else in the stadium. So every tackle, the subs, we were screaming, yeah, rah, to the point where I remember that we did that the first game against Fleetwood, and I'm going back. And the Fleetwood players on their bench were looking over at us like, bruv, you know what, the reason why I'm trying to say, you know when you are tight, that you could just be rowdy and man, that people
man are looking like
what? Yo, you know, just what?
Yo, them man are
they're mad. That's what them man are mad. That's what Fleetwood were doing.
Beat this?
Because
that will rattle opponents.
It was the most
I tell him all the
thing.
time. Be aggressive.
It was so
be that
powerful. It was so powerful to where the second game, they were loud.
Yeah.
That's what I did, because we noticed it.
Yeah.
Like the first game,
we got to match their energy.
So they were all prim and proper, sitting down, like, right, every tackle, you've got bad, man. So the second game,
who's boss,
this is where we knew.
Yeah, I know them ones, because I'm doing it. That's him sometimes. Where his mom's got to be like, hey, babe, relax.
It's a wicked tool because they started the second game they scored early.
So that automatically made them wood up.
So that meant and then every tackle, they was just loud. So we noticed it. We was like, oh, raw. Like, they've come to play. They've come to it. So and this is why I say, so the same, Oxford didn't know that. So when we played in the playoff final, we was there, loud. You could hear our coach, our chairman, he was up in the sticks in Wembley. You could hear him. Like, when I mean we was destined, like, it was just that. And then, of course, again, I'll turn around after we won it, the infamous... It was
the most infamous.
Wow.
That was for the streets.
Yeah. That was
for the man them. For the ones that never made it.
For the one in the back.
For the ones in the back. All right. Listen.
That was pure elation of achieving something that I kid you not had given up on. That dream, as in. When I signed at 34, and I'll be honest, when I signed at 34, I'm like, look, I didn't like the way it ended at AFC Wimbledon. I still felt I had more to give. And that's what I try and tell everybody. I use this statement in saying that I don't do things to prove people wrong. I do things to prove myself right. That's what I live by, right? And I say it that way round because inevitably, if you prove yourself right, you're proving them wrong anyway. But if you do it the way where I'm going to prove you wrong to prove me right, I'm putting in more energy in proving you wrong rather than more energy in myself, in me, right?
So and the energy has to go in you.
So I say it like that. So the reason why I come in that point, and I say this, when I was at AFC Wimbledon, the gaffer put me out the team in December. So the first year, I was the main man. Second year, we signed 2 strikers. And when you're old enough, and especially you look back, it was the right decision. They were the 2 who fired us to the playoffs. No two ways about it. Their partnership, big up Lyle Taylor and Tom Elliott. Them 2 partnership. But for me, the way I am, I'm a big character. I don't like being on a bench. That's how, and I remember I was in my feelings. You know how much energy it takes to be in your feelings. So every time I go into training, I'm in my feelings. Then I get in my car and listen to music and I'm blessed. And I was constantly doing that for 3 months. And I remember the last month of the season, I was like, big man, stop being an idiot. Just be you. And of course, it coincided to, I remember I scored in the semi-final, I scored in the final. I just finished the season strong for AFC Wimbledon. But I didn't like the 4 months that I wasn't really me. So in my head, I was like, I'm going to go play 2 years. I'm going to go and put things right for myself at Wickham. I'm going to go score goals. But man, I probably can get another promotion. That was it. But to get to that point where we was a game away to get to the champ at 38, I was like, yo, So when I gave that interview, it was that. It was that. Yo, let me tell you something. For everybody in the back, real bars, Wickham's in the Championship. And it was just, I remember it did sound like a sermon, because I was like, yo, I got to give thanks to God. Real bars on this. And of course, again, and this is where I knew that everything just aligned. Because there and then I called out, the only person that can send me a WhatsApp is Klopp. By the time I got back to my phone after the celebrations, Klopp had sent me a personal message. And for me, that's the testament of the man. And I'll always back him. And he's done other things, but that was where I was like, yo,
he's a real one.
He's a real one. You know what I'm saying? And then Wickham in the champ, we unfortunately, but it is what it is. We played the whole champ season in COVID, so there was no fans. So it was getting to these big stadiums, which normally, like, for us little players or the little teams, we thrive at going to being the underdogs, but there was nobody to feed off the energy. So you're actually playing against technical, and they were better than us, you know what I'm saying? But, you know what I'm saying, we still played the game, we still played in the champ, managed to get my champ goal. And yeah, listen, to be fair, we got relegated. But then I turn around and say we almost got promoted on the last kick of the game. We got to Wembley. And unfortunately, Sunderland turned up and we never. It kind of killed my fairy tale, because I honestly, you know, when I fought for Wickham, I was like, I can't see us losing. I was like that in the sense where I was like, nah, man, the end of the story must be that we're going to get promoted.
It's got to be the fitting
It's going to be, nah, man, bruv, it's going to be that. But
at least you didn't end it like Zidane.
Yeah, say nothing though, cuz. But we're still chatting about it now, so you know what I'm saying? Maybe it ain't a bad thing. But nah, you know what? To be able to play my last professional game at Wembley, play the game for 21 years, but I count blessings. I won't even lie, man.
Yeah, man.
What's next on the journey? Because obviously Beast Mode's going on. You got the podcast. You got the Prime documentary out.
Yeah, man.
You got the clothing line.
Got the merchandise. To be fair, doing acting. Doing punditry.
Yeah, cause punditry, I see you on the punditry thing. Man. When I see you there, and like I'll be with Liz, she'll be like, "Oh, baby, there's your Benjamin." I'm big hack, you know, yo, my dog, that, you know, that's my Jenna. You get me, like,
I love. You know what I love, right? And I say this all the time, right? Because. And it'll be the same. Like, I've seen you do TV. You can't change who you are. You know what I'm saying? Like, of course, there'll be times where, you know, you look, no swearing.
Yeah, of course.
You understand that?
We adapt to that.
But you are what you are.
Yeah.
So I'm talking about the way you speak. It's the same, but I'll be on TNT and I'll be like, I ain't even gonna lie.
Yeah.
That was a bad boy finish.
Yeah.
Because that's how I talk.
Exactly.
You will hear that and be like, bruv, I know where my man's come from.
I just talking
I get he's just talking the talk. And that's the one thing, and I keep saying it, look, I don't care what you do in life, authenticity has to be. You have to be unapologetically yourself. And for me, I did what I enjoy the most. Actually, I enjoy TalkSport. I didn't think I would. I didn't think I'd enjoy radio like that. But literally, it's just conversating with fans and having a beautiful time. So TalkSport's dope, punditry's dope, acting's dope, the mentoring's dope, clothing. We're doing it. Like, to be fair,
coming up.
So, yeah, you know when I say,
yeah, kind of gym thing, innit?
Yeah. Listen, one thing I will say, like, I know how hard it is to make a transition from one thing to another.
You've done it well, though.
Yeah, and you know what the worst thing is?
It made it look easy.
I was transitioning while I was playing.
Earlier.
That's true.
And that's why I say that I'm very thankful for the manager I had. So but I keep saying the testament of a man is he would be like, B, I'm a man of my word. But I went to 3 Super Bowls in season, as in different seasons. He was like, yo, B, I know what I've signed. I know what I've got. As long as you give me you while you're here. But so that's why, I kid you not, I was so, when people would be like, right, B's the real leader on the team, that's because I put it on my shoulder. I was like, he's going to need this leeway, but I'm running through bricks and beyond for this guy. And so I was transitioning while I was playing. I was like, and that was for me, which I knew that, boy, I didn't earn the money to be able to just chill once I retired. So I had to build something for when I retired. You know what I'm saying? My legacy is I've got 5 kids, and I'll always keep saying my greatest fear is not being able to provide for them. And that will constantly keep driving me on. But at the same time, I always say that you've got to find stuff that you like and you enjoy. And I'm lucky enough to be able to maneuver this space with my family. Like I said, that's management. My older brother's management.
Manager have to manage.
Guys, you know what I'm saying? So
manager have to manage.
We're in a position where, listen, we count blessings and not problems. And long may God continue to bless us.
Amen, brother.
Long may it continue, blood. You understand?
Brother.
Big up the whole Akinfenwa family.
Blessings. Thank you,
You get me?
man.
We appreciate you over here at Back Again.
I love,
Like,
come on.
yeah, me, big love coming over,
Come
blood.
on,
Real
keep
talk.
shining, my brother.
Real
Love
talk,
always.
blood.
Love.
You lot, you already know the vibe. Like, share, comment, and subscribe. I'm gonna put their social media in the description. I don't even need to, but if you ain't following these, man, I don't know what you're following, blood. You get me?
Follow, buff, come on.
You must see I follow something real idiot, blood. You understand? But look out for my ep as well when I pull up on Axe Pod, blood. You get me? Look out for that one. We're gonna shut down the thing. But you know the vibe. Like, share, comment, and subscribe. It's your boy Troops, and I'm out, blood.
Peace.